Yo, what's up GameLeapers, Coach Cheeks back at it, this time with an 11.1 video. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for Season 11. It's finally here, and in just the next 10 minutes or so, we will be covering the Day 1 hotfix Riot has planned for 6 champions, and talking about what the buffs and nerfs are, and what they actually mean. Oh, and I almost forgot to shout out Pro Guards for once again advertising on our YouTube channel. Keep them coming PG, they are massive. Now, most of the actual patch we have already touched on in a previous 11.1 video, so I'd highly recommend checking that out. So we are going to focus on all the cool new stuff here. Now, I want you guys to let me know what your favorite buff or nerf is from the changes we're about to dive into, so pin those ears back and get ready. And guys, we can't start getting into the content without letting you know about our own red hot website, GameLeap.com. You know the drill by now. If you want a bit more coach eggs in your life, then head on over there and get signed up. Thousands of your fellow summoners are milking the challenger courses, guides, and videos so they have an advantage on the competition, so why not do the same? Links, as always guys, will be in the description and comment section. Now we're going to kick it off with the buffs here guys, and there are only 2 of them, so I want to keep your spirits high and start with these. So when the preseason started, there were 2 ADCs outperforming the rest, right? Those were Jhin and Misfortune, and you can remember why, because of lethality. Well, this buff to Varus may well put this Dark and Archer back on the map. So your Q's mana cost is down 5 at each level, and its cooldown is down at earlier levels. Now both of these changes mean one thing: you can spam that Q like Yasuo does deaths. How many of you have actually played against a Varus with a Duskblade, or even just a serrated Dirk? He hurts. He does damage. Now the great thing about this change in the bigger picture is that the best champions right now are those that spike hella hard early on, especially with the new mythic items. Well, this buff puts you on the map as early as everyone else. It increases your damage output because you can throw more Qs out for less cost, and you will be able to get to that spike earlier too. Now there are a couple of other changes in this patch that also affect Varus. So Duskblade is getting changed, so its passive damage is down, which actually means nothing, and its AD is up, and this is great for Varus because this gets put into your buffed Q. You're still getting the same ability haste as well. Unfortunately, the other change Rito are making to one of your key items, Mirror Mana, is a bad one. Its cost is up and its passive damage is down. And if you build lethality, this whack change, well, your late game kind of sucks. But as I said guys, this meta is all about those early game item spikes, and you now have a much better chance of winning lane and dominating the rest of the map. So the next buff we have to talk about is to another AD carry, and let's be honest guys, they need all the buffs they can get, and this one is to Sivir, and it's actually really interesting. So your base mana is up, and your Q's base damage is up at each level, as is its AD scaling. So this is actually pretty similar to the Varus buff we just talked about. Your highest damage ability will be more powerful, and the best way to make the most of it is to actually build lethality. Now I know most people still build critical strike chance and Sivir, but the truth is this guys, it underperforms, and even when you do come online at 3 items, there are heaps of other AD carries that do so, just stronger. So give Duskblade a try on a level 1, and no, I'm not memeing, I swear. Think about it. You now have more mana to throw out more Qs, and your Q's damage is higher. So if you still build Kraken Slayer or Gale Force or Shield Bow, whatever it is you're building right now, you're not going to make the most out of this buff. Now in my games, I don't think I've seen any of my teammates play Sivir, even though they probably have. And you know why? Because she doesn't really do anything until 30 minutes. Guys, this change, even though it may not have been the buff you wanted, gives you a way of being way more relevant in this current meta, so why not seize it? So that was it for the buffs guys, sorry to all you Azir mains out there. Now let's move on to the nerfs, and let me tell you, I think most of you are going to be happy when you hear some of these bad boys. Again, let me know which of these changes you're happy about. Let's start with the Graves nerf, and this one is kind of weird to me because it's like, why would Riot nerf a champion with under a 50% win rate and not a better performing jungler like Kha'Zix, who has had well over a 50% win rate for weeks and months? In fact, I can take a calculated guess at this one. I reckon Riot have a legendary skin coming for the cockroach, and that's why. So if you play Kha'Zix, make sure you save up for the next few weeks. Okay, back to the Graves nerf, and guys, you are losing a massive 2 AD. Now, yeah, I was joking this time. This doesn't seem too serious, and you will still be able to play Graves, of course, and win. So it might take one more auto attack to do red buff, and an enemy champion might live on 1 HP and, I don't know, 1% more games. But I do want to touch on how this impacts your lethality build, and this is important to understand. Now, the more attack damage you have, and this is the stat getting nerfed, the more damage your abilities do, of course. Now, when you have a lot of base damage, lethality becomes stronger. For example, you're not going to build a Duskblade on Karthus, obviously. So that's how the decrease of 2 AD really impacts Graves. But yeah, nothing to write home about because you can still take your red buff and invade, or just scale for free and farm. Okay guys, so the next nerf Riot is throwing out in this day 1 hotfix is to MALPHITE, and Riot are targeting MALPHITE scaling. Now, if you didn't already know, the more armor MALPHITE has, the more damage his abilities do, while Ryder decreasing this armor ratio in both his W and E. Alright, so what does this really mean for the Rock? Well, ratios equate to scaling, so the more of a stat you get via items or runes, the more power gets put into your abilities. Now, in terms of MALPHITE, once you get Sunfire Aegis, Thornmail, and everything else that has armor, not only are you tanky, but its tankiness also means damage. So this nerf is saying, hey Malph, the later the game goes, you're going to deal less damage. So in the early game, you're still going to be relatively weak because you don't have a significant amount of armor, right? You still have high mana costs as well, and the base magic resist nerf from 1025 isn't going anywhere. Now at the moment, Malph is one of the best champions, let alone tanks on the Rift, so this nerf seems warranted, but will it be enough to stop all of you top laners banning him? I mean, I'm still going to, but yeah. Alright, so the next champion on the chopping block is TALIYAH, and it seems as if Riot really want TALIYAH to be played in the jungle exclusively, so if any of you dabble in a bit of TALIYAH mid, I'm sorry about this. Now, it doesn't sound too bad. Your passive movement speed is decreasing, and this will be felt more in the early and mid game, but your clear speed is still there, and no damage is being lost. Listen to this as well, guys. So in high elo right now, TALIYAH has close to a 60% win rate, which is crazy. And though this nerf may present you with less kill opportunities and less farm, because it takes a little longer to get to camps and objectives, when mastered and played efficiently, TALIYAH is arguably the best jungler in the game. Now, you still have your ultimate to help with ganking lanes from afar, so I'm curious, what do you guys think? Is this movement speed nerf enough to stop you from playing TALIYAH? Okay, we're at the last nerf of this day one hotfix, guys, and before we reveal who and what it is, head on over to our sick website at the end of this video, GameLeap.com. It's got everything you will ever need to climb out of elo hell and become a top tier player. In fact, those top tier players you watch and know about have made courses, guides, and videos on our site so you can get the best learning experience. Join thousands of others and get signed up. Links down below. So the last nerf is to Ivern, and this is a funny one. So Riot are reverting the Q&E buffs from 1025, and I'm pretty sure their plan was to buff Ivern so they could suck us all into splashing the cash on his new skin. And after being played for a patch, bang, they bring him back down to earth. Or did they? Now guys, I don't think these nerfs are that significant, so any of you who are playing Ivern or abusing him for free LP because he does have the highest win rate at the moment, you should still be happy. And here's why. Your Q's cooldown isn't the be all and end all of your kit, and in the 11.1 patch, Boots of Lucidity are granting more ability haste, so this will be felt less. Now on top of that, the AP ratio nerf in your E means nothing. You're not building a Rabadon's death cap on Ivern unless you're a real Chad, so you will still be able to shield your teammates and E-girl Daisy on the reg. It's all about utility, and honestly, almost all of it is still there, so there's no reason to fret. Keep in mind that your core items were buffed in 1025 too, so in the last few weeks overall, Ivern has benefited greatly and will still be at the top of the pile. Guys, thanks so much for watching this update video. Please let us know you enjoyed it by dropping a like down below, and remember to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you stay up to date with everything League. This has been Coach Eags, and until tomorrow's video, peace.